Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a really long time since I did a video, and I won't even make any excuses as to I've been so quiet for 7 or is it 8 months, I'm not very sure. I just decided whenever I have something to post, I'll do a video. So I'll just jump straight into this. For today, I'll be talking about the 5 love languages. You may have heard about the 5 love languages, but really don't have an in-depth understanding. Maybe you've never heard about the 5 love languages. Today I'm here to shed some light on what 5 love languages is, and I'm here also to change your life and your thinking. So I'll start by explaining what love languages is. Basically, love language is speaking your love communication. In relationships, it's really key to communicate, and love languages is just one of the ways to communicate that makes you feel loved. And I'm going to give a list of the 5 love languages before I go into an in-depth explanation on each one of them. So in no particular order, we have words of affirmation, we have gifts, we have physical touch, acts of service, and quality time. So one of these love languages could be yours. Oh, of course, one of them will be yours. One of these love languages will be yours. Sometimes people are bilingual, like myself. You could have to, so you have your primary love language, which I'll do it in a grading. It could be, your primary love language is at 100%, and your secondary love language is usually at 80, 70, or 90%. Meaning your primary one is your highest, your secondary one, it's important, but not as important as the first one. So let's just begin, and I'm going to begin with my lowest to my highest love language. My lowest, and that thus takes 5th place, is gifts. The love language of gifts is basically when someone shows you love by giving you gifts, and this you enjoy gifts. Whenever you receive gifts, either from your parents, from your friends, from someone you care about, your spouse, someone you're getting to know into as you transition into marriage, you get really excited about the gift. You treasure them. Something as simple as a rose, you take so much care for it because you don't want it to die. So you're always watering it, you're ensuring every time you look at it, you're ensuring that it's still alive. You desire for it to stay alive. Because every time you look at this rose, you're like, so and so thought about me, and I felt so loved when they gave it to me. You basically treasure gifts. For me, I'm not a gift person. I'm not really good even at giving gifts. How I know I'm not a gift person is because I usually would, when someone gives me something, I would criticize it a lot in my mind, not many times, not verbally. Sometimes I'd be like, no, you should have just given me the money to do it. I would have been able to get something I desired. So of course your parents get to learn you as you go along, and they make it the easier way by giving you money instead of buying you a gift. So that's how I knew. For me, as I read the book, I was like, now it makes sense as to why I don't really enjoy gifts. And if you're my friend and watching this video, I do not like flowers. If you're giving me chocolate, honestly, if you want to buy me a gift, just say this is what you're getting me, then I can give you the specifications of exactly what I want. I'll send you the photo. If it's something as simple as a chocolate, I'll be like, I don't like white chocolate, I don't like this particular brand of chocolate, so get me this one. I'll appreciate your effort, and I'll appreciate the fact that you thought about me. But most of the time, I may not eat your gift, I might not wear your gift, and I might not treasure your gift. I know that's brutally honest, but that's just how I knew after reading this book. I was like, hey, my love language, and the lowest one is gifts. But if you're giving me money, bring it on. I won't refuse, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'll feel like you loved me. I just feel like, yeah, thank you for thinking about me. Don't get me wrong, I'll still care about you as a friend, I'll still care about you as my parents, I'll still care about you as my closest friend, but that doesn't speak my love communication, basically. Yeah, so how do you get to know what the person is interested in? Listen to what they're saying. When they're talking, and you'll even notice by the actions. You can be passing by the supermarket, you're passing in the malls, and they point out things, and they don't necessarily have to be expensive things, because when it comes to the love language of gifts, it's not about the expense, it's about the thought. So they can point out something as simple as that teddy bear is really so cute, I would like to get it. And then you pass on, that moves on. And then one day you pass by the supermarket, or you intentionally go to that mall to get it and give it to that person. They would really, really appreciate it. You'll even be surprised years down the line, they still have it. For example, you can find you bought your child a gift when they were 10, and 10 years later, at 20, in uni, they still have the teddy bear. It's because they treasured. They said, they heard what I said, and they actually went out and bought it. So they thought about me. They saw me interested in something, they thought about me, and actually went and got it. So when it comes to gifts, it's not about the cost. It's not that I have to get someone diamonds, I have to get someone pearls. That's also a plus, but it's not about, it's not about the cost. Basically, it's not about getting the most expensive gift for this person because their love language is gifts. It's about the thought. So I'm giving you the tips on getting to know. As I said before, listen to what they have to say, because as you get to know the person, of course they'll say, oh, I enjoy flowers. Oh, I love flowers. I love the smell of flowers. Whenever I get flowers, I treasure them. I ensure I take care of them. Even when they die, I usually feel, why did it have to be the end? Stuff like that. They'll always openly say their desires. So listen, you have to choose to keenly listen to what they're saying, observe them. They'll react towards things. Maybe you're with your closest friend and you see they react towards something they're given by someone else. That's also another way you know. Just watch, observe. So this will take you to actually learn a person. Don't just bypass everything that you hear and everything that they say. No. The second love language for me that is the lowest is physical touch. And physical touch is not about intimacy. No, that's not what physical touch is about. Physical touch is basically when this person likes to be close to you. They want to, as a friend, they always want to hug you, they always want to hold your hand. In your marriage, you notice your spouse is very, what they call touchy-touchy. They just always want to hold your hand, embrace, put the arm around you, stuff like that. So when it comes to the love language of touch, it's one of the easiest ways to know someone is touch. Now, when you're seated with your friend on the couch, you always notice, even when you're just talking or watching a movie, they want to hold your hand. They want to be really close to you on the couch. And I'm not talking about intimacy again. I'll keep repeating this. This is nothing to do with being intimate. Basically, I'm talking about, it's not about being sexual. This is even just friendship. Even, to make it less intimate in the way I'm describing it, I'll use this one as an example of my sister. My sister's love language, as I got to read the book, I realized is physical touch. This is her primary love language. So on the Gates scale, this is at 100%. Whenever we are together, she wants to hold my hand, she wants to put her arm around my shoulder, she always wants to hug me. Even when we are laughing, she wants to hug me. That's how you know someone's love language is physical touch. When you do such things back to them, they know you love them. And for me, this is as low as gifts. So it takes a lot for me to show that love language to her. Because for me, I'm not very good with her. I can be very awkward with hugs. I can be very, 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 really, this one is very, very awkward with holding of hands. I just like what I call my private space. If you want to have a conversation with me, if you want to sit with me, I like that to be space. So you see, I'm going out of my way by returning the hug, awkwardly holding her hand to show her that I love her, because that's how she feels loved. So I think this is one of the easiest love languages to know someone is, because it's nature for them. So their reaction is, hey, hi, how have you been? Long time. They really run for a hug. They want to hold your hand when you're walking. You notice they're always just really, really, they don't give you private space, is basically what I'm saying. Yeah, so for me, I'm really awkward when it comes to these things. So if you're watching this and you're my close friend and you realize I've done these things, it's because I've just decided to put my flesh aside and say, hey, because this person really wanted a hug and this person really wanted me to hold their hand, or in this particular space I felt like they needed that touch, I do it. I think that one was really easy to explain, so I'll go on to the next one. My third lowest love language is acts of service. And this one, at least this one on the scale, it can take about 40%. Yeah, it's acts of service. Acts of service is basically when someone speaks your love language by doing things for you. And this one really works well when you go out of your way to do things for this person. How do you know someone is acts of service? Let me use it traditionally. Traditionally, we've been taught that women, not nowadays with the millennials and all that, it's changed, but you can still find it in some people, is that women were taught to take care of the house, ensure the house is clean, take care of the babies, cook for your husband, you're taught like that. So when, not all men, but when men now go transition into marriage, they expect these things to be done. They expect the wife to clean, they expect the wife to cook, and all that stuff. So even they don't really appreciate it, they expect it. Realize the difference. They appreciate it, yes, but they expect it to be done. So for them, it's not a really big deal because that's what they expect to be done. Now, when it comes to a man, for example, let me use a man. When it comes to a man whose love language is acts of service, this is how you will know this is their love language. Let me use John and Jane again. Whenever Jane wakes up in the morning, prepares breakfast for him, ensures his outfit for the day is ironed, and then prepares maybe a snack for his lunch break, supper is ready, even though she's not the one who does it because she could be working, she doesn't have to necessarily be a housewife. She just goes out of her way to ensure that John is satisfied by doing things for him. That's how his reaction will be, wow, babe, you love me so much, I appreciate you, thank you so much for showing me love. He'll show you that he feels love because he will return the love back to you. So that's how you know that someone's love language is acts of service. And then also for the man, he'll go out of his way. Whenever you're stranded with a flat tire, it doesn't matter now because I'm in Nairobi, it doesn't matter if you're at Ngong Road and he's all the way at Thika Road, he'll come to sort you. He'll make sure he finds a way to come and sort you out. He'll go out of his way to make you feel good. He'll come to your place to fix your laptop. He'll come to your place to fix your light bulb. And stuff like that and stuff like that. Just because his love language is acts of service. That's how you get to know, hey, also that their language is acts of service. So even I can do something to make them feel loved. Which that takes second place for me, and for me it's actually my secondary love language, which on the scale I would say it's 90%, is words of affirmation. Words of affirmation is basically speaking positive words that especially touch the emotions. And words of affirmation have different types. We have appreciation, we have kindness, we have encouragement, and we have words of praise. For me, I've noticed the ones which really speak when you tell me is encouragement and praise. Encouragement and praise. Appreciation as well. Kindness as well. But these two, encouragement and praise, really work for me. Let me explain each one of them. Kindness is it's quite obvious. When you speak words that are kind to a person, you're not rude to that person. Your words are always kind. They know you love them. They know you care about them. Like if it's a child, you speak to them with kindness. Don't be rough on them. They'll know you love them as a parent. When it comes to appreciation, thank you so much for doing this for me. Thank you for going out of your way to do this for me. Thank you for being such a blessing in my life. I appreciate you for all you've done for me. That's words of appreciation. Showing gratitude to someone with words, not action, words. And then now my two highest, encouragement. I said encouragement and praise. So encouragement, let me give an example. when I did my Form 4 IGCSE system, when I did my Form 4, I failed. And I went to a tuition center instead of being taken all the way back to boarding school and all that. I went to a tuition center, and they used to review us with tests. And when every time my tests come back, especially in math, I was always failing. So the owner of the institute realized I need one-on-one tuition so that I can understand. Every time she would teach me something, she would say things like, Wambere, I know you remember this. Wambere, I know you can do it. Wambere, you're bright. Wambere, you're brilliant. You're really good at math. I believe in you. Those are the words of encouragement she'd give me. When she set the exam and I did it, I went from, was it like a 30% to 76%. So you see, it's not even that she did something different, like in the, how can I say this? What she did different, yes. What she did different was encourage me. She believed in me. So she told me these words of encouragement. And that made me change my mind and realize, hey, you're really good at math. So for me, words of encouragement work and words of praise. This is how I know I like words of praise. So someone one day told me, you have a really beautiful voice. Your voice just stands out. You sound really well today. Someone came all the way, because this is in the church service. Someone came all the way to me and told me, wow, what a beautiful voice you have. Because I think that day I was leading the service in a song. And that was in 2017. Yeah, 2017 until today, 3 years later, I'm remembering those words. Words of praise were for me. Oh, wow, you are just amazing. Wow, you are so beautiful. Things like that work for me. So that's how you get to know someone's words of affirmation. It's whenever you tell them words of praise, words of encouragement, give them words of kindness, words of appreciation, they'll show you. Honestly, they'll show you. The number of times I told that person, thank you, my smile was so genuine. You'll just know. Honestly, you'll know someone who is words of affirmation. And then now, the one that takes first place and is my primary love language is quality time. Quality time is basically spending time with the person you love. And usually, that time is time that you have to put in your schedule to make. Why do I say that? We have busy schedules. You go to work, you're busy with school. As a parent, you come from work, you're tired, sometimes you don't have time to spend with your kids. If you're married, your husband comes, he's really exhausted from work, depending on what he's doing. He's been flying out, traveling, comes back jet lagged. And if your love language is quality time, you'll still expect that loved one to spend time with you. And so for the one who could be also quality time and not quality time, is sacrificing their time to spend with you. And even you could also be tired from work. Like me, my quality love language is my love language is quality time. So I may be exhausted, but because I feel loved when I spend time with loved ones, I'll just put my tiredness aside and actually sit down and have long conversations with them. So people of quality time like myself, we like long conversations. Like really long conversations. The more we talk, as hours pass, the more energized we get. So it's not a tea because I spent 1 hour with so and so, they feel satisfied. It tends to be the opposite. If you spend, the more time you spend with me, the more energized I get. So if you spend with me 2 hours, I can go another 2 hours. You spend with me 4 hours, I can go another 4 hours. And I'm very honest about this. I can talk, especially when it's one-on-one or maximum 3 people. Not very big. I'm not very good with crowds. I tend to go into the background. It's just like one-on-one conversation. So I'll use this. I usually do this with people I'm really close to. That's what I'm going to say. I do this with people I'm really close to. So the person of a love language of quality time likes to go talk for hours. And hours and hours and hours and hours. And when it's hours and hours, of course, you want the person to share, even that you want the other person to share about their lives, especially when you're getting to know someone. It's really exciting for us quality time people, because we're always interested in getting to know you, and we always want you to get to know us. So we'll give you our ears. We'll keenly listen to everything you're saying. If you were to examine us 3 years later, we could say exactly what you said. Sometimes even we know exactly what you wore. Now, as I've explained that, you'll notice there's something quality time people don't like. It's when we are talking, especially when it's our turn to talk. Listen, don't interrupt. We do not like interruption. We've given you our ear to hear exactly what you've said. We've not interrupted you for the hour you spoke. When it's our turn, listen. We want to be heard. We want you to understand us. We want you to understand us deeply. And it's always a plus if you can also remember what we said. So we want to be heard. Don't interject every time you're speaking. When as we start speaking, so you're like, oh, I forgot to tell you this about me. Then when you're like, oh, that's really nice. And then you're like, so can I go back to what I was saying? Then they're like, yeah. Then when you start again, they're like, oh, but no, that... Like for me, those are vibes reading that you don't care about me, you're not interested in me, you're quite self-centered, because this relationship is going to be about you. So for me, when it comes to gauging you as a person of interest, I lose interest very easily when I get to know you, or someone who will interrupt my conversations. That just means you'll never listen to me. I just basically read, you'll never listen to me. So listen, when it comes to someone who is quality time, just listen to what they're saying, because I can guarantee you they'll listen to what you're saying. That's why those love languages of quality time are very good at remembering situations when it comes to the wrong context of arguments. I'm not saying I'm into arguing, but yeah. Then there are types of quality time, and one of them was one I said, listen. Just listen. Then there's the one whose love language of quality time likes activities. Let me give an example. I enjoy video games. I don't play that much, but when I get the chance, I really, really enjoy video games. And maybe my friend doesn't enjoy video games, but the fact that they took the pad and actually joined me in a game means a lot. Means you really care about me because I like this thing. You chose to spend time with me instead of going out of the room to do something else. You chose to spend time with me playing video games because I enjoy video games. So that's love, the quality time of activities. This one is, you really have to work at it, because most of the time the activities Jane likes is not the activities John likes. John likes safari rallies, yeah, and then Jane likes choirs. So Jane will go with John to safari rallies because he likes safari rallies. Hey, this can be a tongue twister. And then John will join Jane to listen to choirs because Jane likes choirs. So you see, you're spending time, you don't necessarily like the time. I mean, you don't necessarily like the thing, but because the person you care about likes it, you decide to spend quality time with them during their activities. And believe you me, like the one I said about video games, especially if I know you do not like video games, and you chose to spend time with me when I was playing video games and joined me, it's a plus. It's a plus, it's a plus, it's a plus. And even though at that time I don't really know your love language, I'll be determined to know your love language so that I can show you love as well. So in a nutshell, those are the 5 love languages. It would be really cool if you actually read the book, in case you don't remember, 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. He has a number of books on them, because the first one he wrote was the 5 Love Languages of Marriage. And after selling so many books, people now are asking, can you do the 5 love languages for this group of people and stuff like that. So he has the 5 love languages single edition, 5 love languages for men, 5 love languages for children, and 5 love languages for teenagers. let's use an illustration. There are two love tanks. There is love tank A, where the person you care about does not communicate love to you, and there is love tank B, where this person communicates love to you. So whenever your loved one does not speak your love language, does not speak those love words to you, does not show you that love with their love communication, your tank is empty. Maybe let's say, for example, you get married. Your parents showed you love with your love communication language. Let's say your words of affirmation. Your parents always affirmed you with words all the time. You get married. This is just an example. You get married and this person has no understanding of your love language. Does not mean not to show you love. But doesn't give you those affirming words. It's not natural to them. They have no understanding. They do not know what this is all about, so they do not feel your love language. So they don't feel your love tank. It will get to a place, maybe when you are married, it was at 90% because of your parents and let's use your parents. Then as you stay in the marriage, it gets to 0. So your love tank becomes empty. And this is when you get to the realization, you start complaining. Oh, my husband doesn't love me. He doesn't show me love. He doesn't appreciate me. I never feel loved by him. And that time, to him, he's gone out of his way to love you, because instead of speaking your love language, he's speaking his. Anyway, let me not get too depth. Let me take this step by step. Yeah. So your love tank becomes empty, and you notice you appreciate affirming words from people on the outside. And I'm not talking even about cheating, but you notice now your friends, your colleagues are the ones who are filling your tank when you want your husband to be the one to fill your tank. And then let's use now the other example. When your spouse is filling up your tank, affirming words, until you're at 100. People on the outside will give you compliments. You say, thank you so much for telling me that, thank you for that. But on the inside, you know you're satisfied. You're filled up. Even if someone on the outside didn't tell you look good, you just know how your husband told you look good today, and even the way he was looking at you, it was like, my baby's beautiful. So you won't even need those affirming words from people from the outside. You will be like, thank you. But you on the inside, you're good. You're just satisfied. You're one happy spouse. Yeah. So the love tank is important. And if it's that important, that means you need to be consistent. Yeah. Don't just speak the love language of a person for 1 month and think they're good for 2 years. No. It's a consistent thing. I like using this example. When you're hungry, you're really, really hungry. You had a long day, you're hungry, and you eat. You feel satisfied. Because you ate that meal doesn't mean it will run you for 2 years, will it? No. You'll need to keep feeding your body. So it's the same way you need to keep feeding the love tank. The love tank needs to be fed. And believe me, at first, let me explain it this way. When it comes to learning someone's love language, it will take sacrifice of resources, sacrifice of time, and sacrifice of the flesh. Why do I say the flesh? Because you'll be put in uncomfortable situations. Like for me, holding hands is uncomfortable. Sacrifice of time is when you're really tired, you just want to eat and sleep. But your spouse who's quality time really wants to talk. So you'll sacrifice your time of sleep, sometimes your time of eating, just to listen to what they have to say. And then resources, because at times you may have, let's say it's acts of service, you'll have to travel from point A to B to sort this person out. And then resources also in gifts. Maybe at that time, even something simple, you may not have the finances at the moment to do it, so it will take resources. That's why I'm saying this, learning someone's love language is a sacrifice. And let me go back to what I was saying. I just needed you to understand that it's a sacrifice. So when you're consistent with something, it's a sacrifice, because you'll have to work at making it almost a norm. And I'm not saying every second you say, oh, you look nice today, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, no, from your heart, even though it's a compliment a week, from your heart, they'll know. The person whose that's love language is will know from your heart. Don't force it, just learn step by step. Just make baby steps. Even making baby steps works, but just be consistent with it. Don't say, hey, I've filled that tank, I'm going to take a break for 2 months. As I said before, just the same way you satisfy your body with food is the same way you satisfy the love tank with words, with love, their love language. So be consistent with the love language, and then remember the sacrifice. And when you're consistent, it becomes easier. Why does it become easier? It becomes easier because the person will show you love back. For real, they'll show you love back because they feel so loved. Of course, their instinct is to love you back. When someone is not feeling loved, unless they have the word of God, they won't show you love back. I say unless they don't have the word of God, because in Christianity we are taught to kill the flesh. Yeah, the flesh has no say. But usually when someone doesn't feel loved, they don't show you love back. Yeah, so when now you show them love, they'll show you love back because they feel loved. It's just even you as a person will love the outcome of working consistently with the love language. Yeah. So don't tire of loving the person, and they'll love you back. It would also be really nice, let's say for example the person watching me is learning the love language of their friend, of their partner, of their kid. It would also be really nice if you actually show this video to the other person, so also then they can learn your love language. And then when they learn your love language, the two of you will have an amazing relationship. I believe I've shared everything that I got a revelation on in the book. If you feel like there's something I've not explained really well, you maybe want more in-depth explanation, I'll leave my social media handles down below. If you want to share with me your love language, you can comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. If you really enjoyed this video, you'd share this with your friends, your family. Yeah, I believe this is family friendly. Just kidding, I know it is. You'll share it with your friends, your family, and stuff like that. Let people get to know their love language.